Jimmy Garoppolo, the guy that the 49ers decided to stick with last year in lieu of welcoming Brady home, and who is the starter for now, is injured. He was expected to undergo an MRI on his calf today. Here's Jimmy Garoppolo from yesterday after the game talking about the calf injury that took everyone by surprise when we found out about it, by virtue of the fact that Trey Lance ran out onto the field to play quarterback for the 49ers at the start of the third quarter.
Happened in the first series. I don't know exactly what happened. Tweaked the calf. It hurt initially. I thought I could keep trying to go, and it just kept getting worse and worse. Traveling down to the Achilles a little bit, but we'll get more information tomorrow with the MRI and everything. Hopefully, hoping for the best right now. Yeah, it sucked. I mean, just in between series, I could feel it tightening up and everything. Thought I could gut it out. I tried to for the first half, but it's just tough, man. I don't know. Been in this situation too many times, and it's getting real old, so it's just one of those things that part of the business, though.
Oh, the body language experts focusing on that last part, touching the face, been in this situation a few times. It's getting old. Yes, it is. That's why they traded up in the draft. It's getting old for them. Yep. Because quarterbacks have to stay healthy. I hate this cliche, but it's appropriate. That's one of the reasons why cliches become cliche, because they're so damn accurate. The best ability is availability, and he's not available. And, Charean, I'm a firm believer that this confusion or whatever it is, this method to the madness that is the quarterback situation in San Francisco, the simplest explanation, I believe, is Jimmy didn't like the quarterback rotation thing, the Drew Brees, Taysom Hill approach that we saw in week one. The locker room is still behind Jimmy G because Trey Lance hasn't won over the locker room, so Kyle Shanahan decided we're going to ride with Jimmy G until he gets injured, because history tells us he will. When he does, then it's Trey Lance, and then that's his chance to win over the locker room, and if he does, it's exactly what Colin Kaepernick did when Alex Smith got a concussion in 2012. Kaepernick came in, proved himself. That was it. It was never a thought after that. I wonder if that'll happen. If it happens, it's going to be because Lance proves that he's good enough to do the job.
Or Justin Herbert last year, Mike, same thing happened. Tyrod Taylor took the needle to the lung, and next thing we know, Justin Herbert's in there and proved that he was a starter, and Tyrod Taylor left for Houston in the offseason, never got his job back. So Trey Lance now has an opportunity. But, Mike, the most interesting stat, and they put up the graphic there, but 5 seasons Jimmy Garoppolo has entered week 1 as the starter. He got hurt before the 4th game in 4 of those seasons. If you remember back even the Patriots year when Brady was suspended, he started out the season as a starter there and hurt his shoulder, went out that year, and then he's had the 3 other injuries now that have kept him out of games for the 49ers, which is why the 49ers, as you said, traded up to get Trey Lance. So Trey Lance now has his opportunity to win the job. If he doesn't win it, that means the 49ers aren't winning, and they may be out of it by the time Jimmy Garoppolo gets back. Who knows how long that's going to be. And maybe they just say, forget it at this point. We're so far behind the Cardinals. We're not going to win the division. Let's just let Trey Lance get experience and move on from Jimmy Garoppolo.
The game this weekend is critical because it is the Cardinals. The 49ers are going to play them there in what was San Francisco's home away from home last year. Remember, they spent a bunch of the season playing out of Arizona when Santa Clara got rid of all outdoor events due to the pandemic. And it's a bye week after the Arizona game. Then the Colts and the Bears, back-to-back weekends for the 49ers before another game against the Cardinals. We'll learn a lot about Trey Lance, assuming Jimmy Garoppolo misses at least a game or two. This game this Sunday is key. And, look, Trey Lance was good enough yesterday, 9 for 18. That's not a ridiculously strong completion percentage. He had 157 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, including a long one of 76 yards to Deebo Samuel, 41 yards rushing on 7 attempts. But that was based on the, all right, go ahead, you're in, you're up. That wasn't based on having an opportunity of a full week to get ready. That's what he'll have this week, assuming Garoppolo misses at least one game. And then we'll see what he can do. And you mentioned Herbert, and that's a great comparison, but the difference is this. There was never an expectation that Herbert was going to be the starter last year. Yeah. Anthony Lynn made that clear over and over again. And the extra pressure wasn't on Herbert that is on Lance by virtue of the fact that the 49ers traded up, and it was such a big deal for a month. That mystery, what are they going to do? It puts more pressure on Trey Lance when he finally gets a chance to play, Charean.
It sure does, Mike. And he only took 7 snaps those first 3 weeks. He got a bunch of snaps yesterday, played the entire second half. He's really struggled with consistency whenever he's been in there. Same thing in the preseason. But you're right. He's going to get all the snaps in practice this week, and the game plan is going to be tailored toward him. And on top of that, Mike, maybe it gives him a little bit of advantage with him at quarterback simply because the Cardinals aren't going to have that much film to watch of Trey Lance like they would Jimmy Garoppolo. They've never faced him before. Maybe that gives them a little bit of an edge just because it's Trey Lance and not Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I don't give him a big chance to win this game regardless of who's in there. But one more thing, Mike, you have to wonder about the 49ers and their injuries. They had so many injuries last year. They've had so many injuries this year. There's concerns now, not just with Garoppolo, but with Trent Williams, with his right shoulder, with Robbie Gould, with his right groin. They had all those injuries last year. I don't know what's going on in San Francisco, but they need to figure out why they've had so many injuries over the last 2 years.
At a certain point, you have to take a look at the infrastructure that you have in place as it relates to nutrition, flexibility, weightlifting, training, all of the things that go into making a person ready to go onto a field and play football. Because I still vividly recall the years I sat sitting next to Rodney Harrison, and one of his great skills, and he has many, is to watch 9 football games at once and spot the potentially serious knee injury as it happens. And he would slam his hand into my chest and say, look at that. And you'd watch it, and it's like, oh, that guy's not getting up. And 9 times out of 10, he springs right up. So, you know, we hear about Tom Brady and the whole pliability thing. There is value in having the right systems in place to make sure people are flexible, the right warm-up routines, the right food, the right rest, the right everything. So when you get yourself in a physically compromising position, when that leg goes in a direction it shouldn't, nothing inside gives out. And at a certain point, you have to say, what are they doing wrong? And I remember the Seahawks had an issue like that. The Chargers had issues like that. That red eye moves around the league from time to time, and sometimes it's just the result of not having the right processes in place to keep your guys healthy. So I think that's a legitimate point.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.